I wasn't meaning to go live this early. I ended up pressing the button before I was ready to go live. So now we live. I am in the middle of walking. Went and got some stuff at Dollar Tree. So now I'm on my scooter and I'm headed back. So, oh, excuse me. I had an inkling to do a weekly forecast, which is something I haven't done in a while. But like I wanted to do this like mad earlier. Like I wanted to do this a lot earlier. But I haven't. It's like time just slipped away from me. But shout out to everybody who checked out the live stream that I did yesterday. I ended up taking it down because there was an issue with the video. There was an issue with the video output. So I wasn't, you wasn't able to really see anything. So I ended up taking that down, but I'm on my way back to the RV now so I can do this forecast. So while I'm on my way back, I just want to recap some things that I talked about in that live stream that I did yesterday. So the first thing that I talked about is that right now the sun is in Taurus, the moon is in Pisces. That still haven't changed. Yesterday, the moon was in Pisces in the 3rd house. So yesterday, even though it was Mother's Day, it was talking a lot about your peace of mind. I talked about how, if you have a soul, if you came down here with a soul, then there's only one God. We all have a piece of the mind of God. If you have a soul, we all have a piece of the mind, and that piece of mind is very important because nothing in this world can give you your peace of mind. You came down here with your peace of mind, and your peace of mind is unique to you. Yesterday, I talked about how I did something in my family that, what's up, y'all? What's up, everybody that's coming in? We doing a weekly forecast. I'm just walking back to the RV. I had to go to the store, so I'm just on my way back, walking back. But I talked about how for my Mother's Day gift, I gave my mom some sea moss. And I just felt so happy about that because my mom has been talking about different things that she going through. And that's something that I've always wanted to give to her. I just didn't have any trusted people that I can get it from. So I was able to get her that. And I was just talking about how, generationally and stuff like that, it meant a lot. And I talked about how your peace of mind, yesterday we talked about the Michael movie. That was another thing. I broke down the Michael movie yesterday. And I talked about, I don't know why people are mad, because everything that was meant to be talked about in that Michael movie was talked about. Because y'all don't understand that the Michael movie, it hasn't been about the person Michael Jackson in a long time. It's about the product. This is a product that is gonna well surpass all of us. This is a product that they've been perfecting for like 40, 50 years, 30, 40 years, you know, ever since Michael was like 3 or 4 years old. And this is what they want the world to see Michael. This is how they want the world to see him, as some puny prodigy, some puny prodigy who had this really, really crazy relationship with his dad, and the savior figure, the God figure, the savior figure, which was the same industry higher ups that he was fighting against in the movie. These industry higher ups are portrayed as someone who was instrumental in getting him away from his dad. You know, and that's how they want you to remember him. You know, and another thing that I broke down yesterday, I talked about how when they make these biopics, they make it to where once they've made this biopic about you, hold on. Once they made this biopic about you, you can't. There'll really never be another one again, because the names and the likeness of these people are so heavily copyrighted. If you're an independent person and you trying to make your own documentary, or you trying to make your own video talking about these celebrities, you're not going to get nowhere, because your video going to get taken down and all that kind of stuff. So you just got to take what the industry gives you. You just got to take what they give you, and what they give you is going to be their interpretation that they can make money off of. You'll never know about the blue gangster, Michael Jackson. The Michael Jackson that represented the blue gangster, because the blue gangster wasn't profitable. You know, the blue gangster wasn't profitable. You'll never know. You know, it wasn't profitable in the long run when it came to a lot of stuff that he wanted to do. You know, I talked about that. I'm trying to think about all the stuff that I talked about in that live stream I did yesterday. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I'm trying to think. I don't really think it's too much else that I talked about. But yeah. Oh yeah. I talked about that we have all of these. I talked about how we have how the heads of all of the industries that has been created, the industries that have been created to shape your world, the beings that create these industries aren't who you think they are. You know, and this is stuff that we already know. We almost there. I'm almost there. So what's up, y'all? How was y'all weekend? What's good, El Patro Negro? I'm just I'm walking. I'm on my way back to the RV so I can do the weekly forecast. I just had to walk to the store, and I'm almost there now. But how y'all? What's been going on? What's up, Moochie Williams? What's good? Just got off work. Yup. I'm just getting back my damn self. But I was just led to do a forecast. I was led to do a forecast forecast. So this is where the forecast starts, because the moon is in Pisces, but now it is in Pisces in the 4th house. We still in Taurus in the 6th house. So these are valuable things that we're gonna be working on this week. Valuable things that we're gonna be working on. But since this has a lot to do with the 4th house, which represents the home, you know, and it's in Pisces, the dream home, and this is your inner world. Your inner world needs to be your dream home. Let me say it again. Your inner world, is supposed to be your dream home, not this outer world. This outer world is like your job. Like this outer world is your job that you got to go to, and you got to make sure you keep your area clean in your job, because you got to go back to that same job tomorrow. All right, give me a second so I can put my stuff up. So when I walk into my home, this is what I see. When I walk into my home, in my Pisces in the 4th house, got my light right here, so I can cut my light on. Cut my light. Hey, got my light on. What's up? See, this is my little sacred altar area, so Ocean don't want to be in the camera right now. But yeah. So this is what I walk into. This is what I walk into when I walk into my home. You know, it ain't everything I want it to be just yet. You know, it ain't everything I want it to be just yet, but we getting there. You know, we getting there. And you know, that's what it's supposed to be about. That's what it's supposed to be about. Give me 1 second. Give me a second so I can set everything up. Let me see. All right. Hold on. Open video player. All right. All right. Y'all should be able to see that. I should be able to see that. Let me know if y'all can see that. Yeah, y'all should be able to see it. All right. So this is the weekly forecast, y'all. This is the weekly forecast. The sun right now is in Taurus, and it's shining over the 6th house. So this is work this is valuable work. We're doing valuable work right now. And the moon is in Pisces, but it's in the 4th house. So this is spring cleaning. You know, this is spring cleaning. You know, we in that springtime. You know, the bugs is starting to come out. You know, different stuff is starting to come out. So, you're gonna want to make sure that that your area is clean. We did a lot of releasing with the last moon. We did a lot of releasing, and a lot of that releasing was very chaotic. A lot of that releasing that we did was very chaotic. So it's like, after you release and the chaos and all of that stuff, now it's time to clean up. You know, before before the abundance comes in, before the abundance comes in, you got to clean up first. So that's what this day is talking about. But let's see what this week is going to be talking about. So we're going to go through this. Uh, let me see. Let me see. All right. All right, y'all. So we're going to go through this. Let me get my books. Hold on. All right. So like I say, um, so this is a, all right. Let me know if y'all can see that. Let's see, live chat. All right, okay. Okay, so this right here is the on point Orisha Tarot forecast spread, and this is going to be for this week um, of 2026. It's going to be for this week. You may not go through these things on a particular day, but it's something that you need to make sure that you pay attention to during this week. And one thing that I used to say a lot when I used to do these, but I don't really say it too much no more. But understand that. Oh, hold up. Understand that with this weekly reading, you can take the cards and all the stuff that I talk about. That's gonna that you need to pay attention to that day, and you can add these placements into your natal chart like a math equation. So if that's something that you want to take this even further, and really want to do that internal spring cleaning, I still do readings. I still do that. www.bandclaptv.com. If you want to tap in, and I do these type of readings like this personally. you know all right, so let's see what we got for the overall. Let me see. Let's see what we got. All right. So these two cards come from the Santa Muerte Oracle deck. Let me see, can I get it closer so you can kind of see it? Okay. So I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if y'all can see that, but just follow me. So this right here. So this right here this is the 12 card. So this is what we're doing on the inner level with this reverse. Um, this is what we're doing on the inner level, this 12 card. And then whatever this 28 card represents, this is what we're going to be doing overall on a on an outer level. So let's see what these cards talk about. So we got the 12 here. So that's talking about the ancient god of the night and of war. It starts with a T. So I'm gonna kind of put this like this so you can see what his name is. All right. So this card talks about on an inner level, we're going to be assessing in a period of pause and meditation. On an inner level, we're going to be assessing in a period of pause and meditation what needs to be sacrificed to leave the chaos that you find yourself in. So we're assessing on an inner level, we're meditating about what needs to be sacrificed in order to leave the chaos that you find yourself in. On an inner level, this is what we're doing. Because, like I said, you can't blame the outside world for your peace of mind because your peace of mind is something that the outside world didn't give to you. You know, the outside world didn't give to you your peace of mind. You know, so you will thus be able to obtain great advantages from this new perspective. You know, so it's like we got to understand where we came from, and we got to understand the new plateau. You know, that's why I said yesterday when I was playing that Spider-Man game, it was very symbolic because, you know, that game came out in 2018. You know, I could have been around here, you know, mad and pissed off, never being able to experience that game, you know. But now we in 2026, we got mods and we got all these different shading tools and all this kind of stuff. So I was able to play that game in 2026 in a way that the people in 2018, I wouldn't have been able to play it like that because even though I probably could have got a PS4, you know, I couldn't afford no 4K, 8K TV back then. So, so that's what that's about. You know, understanding um, that the past is the past, and that you have different tools in your arsenal now to make your world a whole lot better. You know, so that's what we're on an inner level. You know, this is what we're doing. So then we got the 28 card right next to it. So that this is what we're going to be doing on the outer level. Action, taking action. So on the outer level, we're taking action. What is the action that we're taking? You know, you have the necessary baggage on your shoulders to face the new adventure before you. Do not fear and proceed without giving the problems of the past too much importance. So that's so on an overall level, you know, this is what we're going to be doing, you know, and the way that this perfectly marries into astrology is that, you know, we're in Taurus season, which has a lot to do with self-esteem, self-worth, self-values, all of those type of things. Is hard. It's hard for Taurus to take accountability when it comes to stuff. You know, it's hard for you to explain accountability to a cow. It's hard for you to explain accountability to a cow that eats grass, and you trying to make the cow accountable that, you know, you ate up all the grass in this pasture, and the cow is like, I mean, shit, like, don't you understand that this is what I do? So you need to make my pasture bigger. You need to make my pasture bigger and greener. And then, you know, I would need less grass to eat because the grass is a lot more healthier. And then, you know, it won't mess up the rest of the agriculture or whatever, you know, because it's big enough for everybody. That's how the Taurus thinks. You know, that's how a Taurus minded person thinks. You know, um, So on a outer level, on the outer level, um, we gotta understand the opportunities, and we gotta take action. We gotta understand what's in front of us. But in order for you to understand and be able to take in what's in front of you, um, you have to be to make sure that mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you've done that inner cleaning, so that you can actually see what's in front of you. All right. So let's see what Monday has for us. Hold on. All right. So this is Monday. It's a lot of stuff, but we're gonna go through it one by one. You know, so a lot of inner chatter. So right now we got a lot of inner chatter. That's what this Gemini reverse. A lot of inner chatter about our path. About this path, and why this path is so difficult at times. Inner chatter. Inner chatter about you know being on this path, and being around people who don't think like you, but you got to be forced to be uh um in this job, or you got to be forced to be in this world. Being in this world where uh um it's hard for you to have relationships. Hold on. There we go. So yeah, so it's hard for you to have relationships. That's Libra. It's hard for you to have relationships. You know, um, it's easy for you to get picked off. It's like it's messed up when you're in a friend group and everybody's supposed to be for each other, and you still feel like you can easily get picked off. You know, like that's a real messed up type of you know array of thoughts to have. You know, and this is how we're thinking. This is how we're thinking. Now, this that eight of earth, I want to read that because that is very interesting. Is very telling what that eight of earth, this card right here, talks about. Do not stop the driving force when feeling sure and calm because you have enough material to spare. Do not take this. So it's like, you know, in this outer world, you can never be comfortable in this outer world because things change and you have no control over it in your outer world. So you gotta constantly be, you know, and it can cause anxiety. This is like anxiety. You know, um, now on an emotional level, we going through this right now. You know, so this is on an emotional level. This is talking about freedom. This is like freedom from responsibility. That's what Legba reversed. This is like freedom from responsibility because this card comes after it. So this is like a Legba who don't want to. This is like a Legba that is retiring and he got pension. You know, like he been doing this job. He been doing this job for a long time, and he ready to retire, and he ready to get his retirement, and he ready to get his pension. That's what this represent. And then you got Eshu. This is the baby Eshu. He's like, yo, like, you know, I should have the I should have the um I should have the freedom to change my stance. I should have the freedom to be able to change my stance. So this is like somebody, this is like a elder who got to know their inner child, and then their inner child, now that their inner child is on the forefront, the inner child is seeing how things need to change. And for once in a lifetime, he's on board with it, because now he's going through some shit. So it's like now these two who normally wouldn't be on the same page, but now they're on the same page. This is kind of like me giving my mom that CMOS. See, this is me, the baby Eshu. And then this Legba reverse would represent my mom, because we both do the same jobs. I'm a cook and she's a cook. Like, we both do the same jobs. We both do the same jobs. You know? And so, and the reason why is because when the earth is like when the earth shatters, it's like when this happens, this is like old hermits. This is like the old hermits losing everything. And now the poor people at the bottom are finally able to rejoice, and they finally able to get what was rightfully theirs. You know? So that's what this Monday represents. This is somebody's story. All right? So let's see what Tuesday has for us. So that's Tuesday. Is this Tuesday? Yeah. So this is Tuesday. So we always start from the bottom. This is somebody like this is like Pumbagita stomping on people heads. Like, this is like the person that, if you would have listened to them, it's like if you would have listened to them from the beginning, you would have got what they about to get. But now you represent this. This is somebody who's able to celebrate. They able to dance on their haters. you know and it's like you didn't. This is like a stripper story. It's like you didn't want to give me the money, but now you have no choice but to throw the money at me, because now my light is shining. It's like my light is shining, and I'm so vibrant. Like, you have no choice but to support. But you didn't do it at first. You didn't support at first. You know? And if this is you, this made you stubborn. You know? Ace of Earth. Like, this made you stubborn. Like this made you a stubborn person. And you may be reflecting right now. You may be reflecting because even though you might have you might have got some wins or whatever, the trauma that this left behind, you might have blew up on some good people. There might was some good people that wanted to help you or something. And you turned them down, or you turned your nose up at them. And then that led to some very treacherous situations, because now you're around people that only want you for your money. Like, they only want you for what you can provide for them. And this is something that you're reflecting over this. Like, you're reflecting, like, this is someone else's situation, and they're reflecting over that. So that's for Tuesday. All right. So let's see what Wednesday has for us. So Tuesday. So this is Wednesday. All right. So Wednesday, this is talking about someone who was always destined. This is someone who was always destined to be straight in life. They was always destined to be straight in life, but it's like your agreement, it came with a clause that you was unaware about. Your eyes were shut. Your eyes were shut about this clause. Like these are what I'm seeing about this week. These are all scenarios of certain people. And these are the things that you're going to have to do that spring cleaning about, because these are real deep traumas. Like these are real deep issues that can lead to some very psychological trauma, very psychological trauma. But in order for you to in order for you to be able to get what's coming for you in a good way, you got to release this stuff, you know. So this is somebody who everything about their spirituality, which was the clause in the agreement, um they didn't they didn't you know, they didn't they was unaware. So this is someone who's looked at as psychologically ill. This is someone who's mentally ill, but their spirit team never left them. But this person don't look at these people as their spirit team, because they were either they were lied to about this, or they was never taught about the spiritual side. So this is the trauma that they're working through. You know, this person is looked at as this is someone who, if they was just taught the right way, how to use how to use their spiritual senses, if they was just taught the right way, they would have had a high fraternal sense. They would have been the type of spiritualist that everybody would want to look up to, you know. And they would understand that these people aren't demons. Like this is someone who feel like they fighting demons. Like this is a psychologically ill, mentally ill person that's fighting a lot of demons, but that's not it. This person on a spiritual realm, on a spiritual realm, this person is a duke. This person is a freaking politician. Like this person is a very powerful, very wealthy person, you know. But he was just never told about that part of, he was just never told about that. So in this world, he's looked at as a, you know, as this person, mentally ill, psychologically ill, psych ward, and he's fighting demons. But these aren't even demons. These are his spirit team, you know. All right. So that was Wednesday. So let's see, what is it, Thursday? Hold on. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So yeah, so this is Thursday, y'all. All right, so this is Thursday. This is Thursday. So we start. So this is Seven of Earth. So this is talking about analyzing. You know, this is someone that's analyzing analyzing their harvest. Like this person is going, you know, checking the books. You know, this is like someone that's checking their books. You know, this is another scenario. You know, this is someone checking their books, you know, checking different stuff, you know, checking different accounts that's supposed to be there. You know, different relationships. You know, are you still down, Tupac? Are you still down? Time for harvesting and checking what you have sown to verify that the palm has been faithful by giving its fruits prodigally. This is a person that does not speculate, but shares and expects the same from their own group. So this is looking for reciprocity, you know. And this is an injustice that's about to be exposed. So when this happens, there's an injustice. Shango reverse. There's an injustice. Every time the baby Shango comes to the world, it's because of an injustice. You know, that's when the baby Shango comes to the world. He comes to the world when there's an injustice in the world. So, so this person is about to start checking his books, and he's about to start checking and seeing where all his money going and where's all his resources going. It's going to lead to an injustice to where the law is going to get involved, or this is like the spiritual law going to get involved. And then there's some conversations that people have been avoiding that's going to need to start happening. That's what this 9 of air is about. And there's some people, that was your guardian angel the whole time. And then that's what you're gonna find out. There was some people that was your guardian angel the whole time, that maybe you looked over it. Maybe you didn't analyze that. Maybe you didn't, this was exposed to you. And then, this right here, you can't blame nobody but yourself. Because if you would have been on top of all of this stuff, you wouldn't have had to do all of this. So this is a lesson talking about understanding who got your back. This is like your spirit team got your back and doing stuff behind the scenes, even when you don't know that certain things are being done behind the scenes. And this is releasing yourself from a mental prison. And this is Shango, so maybe you're releasing yourself from a mental prison that you got to save everybody, or that you got to save everything. It's time for you to release that. Because this is a good card, and these two are good cards. So maybe this is you searching for stuff, out of curiosity, and which leads to different situations. It's kind of like, you got two friends, and all of a sudden, the person, they always let you borrow his car, always let them borrow your car. Then all of a sudden, you're like, no, you can't borrow it no more. And you're like, why? Why? And he don't really got an answer. You like, then you find out, yeah, somebody been borrowing his car and using up all the gas. You find out, well, damn, like we would have had the conversation, I would have showed you it wasn't me. It was this person that you always let borrow your car, that you probably never said nothing to. You need to get out of this enslaved mindset in your mind and start looking at the people who's really in your corner. So this is what you're going to be analyzing and stuff on Thursday. All right, so let's see what Friday has for us. So this is Friday. So this is talking about unrealizable dreams and expectations, unrealizable dreams that put you in a state, put you in a messed up state. And so now you over here mad because the door is closed. I think I know who this person is. I think I know who this person right here represents. So this person, you knew that whatever this door that you was trying to get into, you knew deep down that wasn't where you were supposed to go. This is what you're analyzing and you're reflecting on, a situation that this happened to you. So you over here, unrealizable. This is you going off of emotions and all of that. And so now the door has closed, but you don't understand that this is for your good because the devil was behind that door anyway. So since the door is closed, since you never went through the door, the devil never got a chance to get to you. So this is something that you're analyzing. Like, your dumb mind, dumb unrealizable dreams, you know, it put you in a situation where you was at this door, and if this door would have opened like you wanted it to, that devil would have had their way with you. You know, so this puts you in a ego check. This is an ego check. You know, that's an ego check. That's all this represents. This is a ego check, and you were saved. You were saved because you was very vulnerable, and if things would have worked out the way you wanted it to, that devil would have got you. So this is what some people are going to be reflecting over. So now I think we are on the weekend, baby. So this is Saturday. So by the weekend, you're going to understand about how this world is all about teaching you about adaptability. This is don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Hold on. So this is don't be discouraged. Don't be spiritually discouraged when you go through tests, because these are tests that everybody got to go through. In the end, it's all about fortification. It's all about the sixth house. It's all about making you strong. Mercury. All about making you strong in your value, making you strong in your health and your works, which is Virgo, and then making you strong, building strong bones, strong foundation. That's Capricorn. And Salamander. This is someone who's able to adapt to whatever condition or whatever situation that they're in. Because that's what this is supposed to be about anyway. If your inner world is good, then your outer world, you can adapt to any of your outer worlds, because you understand that the outer world is not your home. It's just a stage. It's a job. It's a stage. And last but not least, let's see what Sunday has for us. So it's funny. So Sunday, where is Sunday? Here's Sunday. It's a message from Yemoya. Whoever heard that song by Yolanda Adams called "It's Already All Right"? That's what this reminds me of. It's already all right. It's like in Yemoya's, when you go to Yemoya about something, she's kind of looking at she's gonna kind of look at you weird, because it's like, before you woke up this morning, we already talked about this, and you already told me about how you was gonna get through it. It's just that your body, you haven't experienced it yet. So since you haven't experienced it, you can't necessarily feel what it's like. It's hard for you to feel what it's like that you've already figured it out, because you haven't experienced it yet. But so this is what you're going through right now. This is someone who think they got it figured out. They think they got it figured out. Two of water, emotionally, they think they got it figured out. And then the message from water happened. Failure in your thoughts. This is like you coming up with scenarios of you failing even though everything is good. And then that leads to you having a scarcity mindset. So this leads to the scarcity mindset. So now you got a scarcity mindset. And that leads to underestimation. That leads to underestimation. That's what the moon card. Where on the other side, grandmama, this is talking about grandmama. The sun is right here. This is the grandmama and grandmama's son. And she like, yo, everything is all right over here. So go ahead and go through it because, this is how things are gonna look on the other side. And me being an animator, I understand this the most because what I deal with, um, right now, the next life of an animator. If y'all not following me on TikTok, definitely follow me on TikTok because the next life of an animator, I'm gonna be hold on. But yeah, so the next life of an animator, I'm gonna be showing you about destruction. About destruction because there's gonna be some really dope scenes because I had to think about it. See, one thing I love about being a animator, that being a animator is a creator god profession. It teaches you a lot about creator gods and the way a creator god would have to think, when you're an animator or when you're a designer or engineer. These are different careers that you can have, and it can really teach you about the mind of God. You know, um, because in my canvas, the world in the Eshu's world, in Unreal Engine, I have to when you're making when you're making animations, when you're making animes and stuff like that, um, you know, the little cute scenes where the baby Oshun is like, oh, pretty butterflies, and oh, that's cute. But you know, I really want this to grab the attention of people that I'm watching. And what's better to grab the attention of people than to um, have action, action scenes. And with action scenes, the best action scenes have destruction, you know, which means that I have to destroy some things in my world. But when I'm destroying these things in my world, I'm not having a negative thought in my mind about destroying it. Because in my mind, I'm like, man, like when I get through destroying this and I learn how to destroy it and I learn how to make it look good and all of that, man, this is gonna bring my episode to a whole nother level. So let's think about it like that. Let's think about it. Think about the worst thing that you've been through up to this point. Like the worst thing that you've been through up to this point that you can say that you kind of gotten over. You kind of gotten over it. And then think about on a God level when you was when you was going through the different situations and experiences and stuff, and think about the type of movie that you want to have in your life, and then think about that situation like, dang, like that was a very exhilarating situation, but if I didn't go through it, the movie of my life would be kind of boring. Like if I didn't go through this, like most of the stuff that you don't want to go through is the very stuff that's gonna make your movie look so much dope. Like it's gonna make the movie of your life look so much amazing. When it's time for you to look over your life. So If I can leave y'all with anything, I can leave. I would leave y'all with that. You know, as long as your inner world, as long as your inner world is in order, you can withstand all the chaos that is needed to make your outer world mirror your inner world. So that's the reason why spring cleaning your inner world is very important, and it's the easiest to clean because the work that you have to do to clean that inner world, um, you know, the tools that you need to do that is free. The supplies are free. So if y'all can heed that message, my friends, you will be glad that you did. That was your on point Orisha Tarot for this week. Um, show me that this is something that y'all want to see more of. Go to my website www.bandclaptv.com. Go to my services tab and schedule you a reading. I do these type of readings on a personal basis. You can also donate. I always have my donation links and all that type of stuff in the description of these videos. I hope y'all enjoyed this. And until next time, peace.